diversity and how to bring people together. That's a big topic today. Words are important. Words sometimes bring people together, and sometimes they really start to divide people, and it's unnecessary. And people don't know they're doing it. So we started thinking about what are these words that bother us as planners, as for me as an attorney, or if I'm representing someone at a hearing, or sometimes it's coming from my client themselves, and it's making me cringe because I don't think it's going to sound right to the residents in the neighborhood or it's to the staff in the city. Number one, upzoning. It is not a technical term. There's no reason that anyone would have to say that. A couple days ago, I heard 4 different clients use the word upzoning in describing the application that we're working on. And I finally said, I got to stop you. We're filing a rezoning. It's the same number of letters as upzoning. Can you just use that word? Because the current zoning doesn't work. We're proposing zoning that is going to improve this neighborhood. Yes, it's also going to help facilitate your project, but that's a great project. People are excited about it. And if you start talking about it as an upzoning, people think you're doing something shady or that you're getting something, you're getting a benefit that no one else is getting, and that there should be some cost associated with that, as if you're stealing something from the community. And that is certainly not what we're doing. And that's something I'd like to avoid. That word to me is number 1 on our list, upzoning.
Number 2 is density. So density is always taking out of context, and it's a dirty word because it's a scary word. People automatically associate density with a ton of people packed into this new shiny development that has no sense of place. It doesn't connect with anybody in the community.
And let me read the definition of density. I just Googled it. The degree of compactness of a substance, a reduction in bone density. Another definition is measurement of the amount of information on a storage medium. And a third is from physics, degree of consistency measured by the quantity of mass per unit volume. None of which sound like housing or anything beneficial to people living in a community. But what we're really talking about is how many housing units or how many apartments or single family homes should there be on a block or in a neighborhood. Yet we're talking about it as a density concept that sounds like crowding or some dangerous condition in which infectious diseases spread. So that's a word we need to get away from. Number 3 is gentrify. Historically, I believe that the term gentrify or gentrification came when we had classes and people were looking to move up in class. These days, where we have such divide between rich and poor, the wealthy and the working class, the term has been used to talk about neighborhoods that are changing in ways in which the current residents are being displaced or priced out of their own neighborhoods, and has a very negative connotation. So we always try and stay away from that word because it instantly puts people on a defensive, and we would try and find other words that talk about what's actually happening in the neighborhood, how it could be beneficial, what are the pros and cons, how do you deal with mitigating displacement, getting ahead of that. And that's something we're trying to do in Wynwood Norte. It's a big part of what we're doing in Wynwood Norte, is trying to be inclusive in development. So any words that start to sound or smell like class, divide, we stay away from.
Number 4 would be exclusive. And immediately when you hear that word, you are excluding the existing community from the conversation. You're excluding the existing sense of place from the conversation. And you are viewing whatever topic you're discussing as an island. And when you enter a conversation like that, it's very difficult to take a step back and understand what the existing surrounding context is. So immediately off the bat, you are framing the conversation to think about your development, your new community as its freestanding island. It's a word that we try and shy away from, because what's important to consider within any new development, any new community, is what makes it unique, what makes it special. When you step outside and you look around, there are different aspects that you can take that can reflect in your new development, in your new project, in the existing community. And those where those strengths are pulled from, rather than defining this exclusive island type issue. You're pulling what makes it special. And that's where the location is. It's who uses the space. It's who creates the space. And evidently that's why we have decided to work in this space.
So our number 5 word is actually going to be zoning. A little bit for a different reason, but at its core, when zoning was created, it was about separating uses. Euclidean zoning, which the Supreme Court blessed in the 1920s, and it was our zoning of choice through most of the 20th century, was about pushing apart industrial uses from residential uses, creating green spaces. In some places, there was a need for that because there wasn't a lot of planning and there were unintended consequences, or there were pig farms next to, single family homes that might have been a problem, that people might have been getting sick in some neighborhood. But we took it to an extreme, obviously fueled as well by automobiles and highways. Today, I would say, if you said the word zoning, most people would have a negative reaction, whether it's a resident in the neighborhood, it's our client. It's zoning by itself needs some help. So that word tends to indicate things are being pushed apart. Much of what we're doing, again, is pulling people together. That's when we're most successful.